Hi, this is Tina of Via Feng Shui Training and Mentoring. Today, we're going to talk about your floor plan and how to get the best compass reading of the facing direction of your home or business. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the floor plan. Having a floor plan is the foundation for you as, a Feng Shui student, or me as a Feng Shui practitioner, on understanding the layout of your space and how the energy is flowing, how the chi is moving about your space or not moving about your space. So having a good floor plan is a great place to start. Now, some of us have an architectural rendering of our floor plan, whether it's a new home or it came with the home that we bought, or it comes from the builder because we built out our business in this building, office building. That's great. We know it's to scale. We know it's proportionate. It's showing where plumbing is and windows and doors and all of that stuff. Perfect. If you have that, make sure you make copies of it. Copies like 8.5 by 11 copies, things that are workable, manageable, not the big rollout pages that we need to try to, lay out on the paper. And that's a little bit cumbersome and not quite as efficient. So make copies, make a few, 4 or 5 copies, because this is for you to, apply the compass, which we can mess up and we want to redo it, or for you to take notes on for future reference. The second kind of floor plan that we often see is hand rendered, right? Of course, if you're good on the computer or some of these smartphone apps and you want to try, doing your the computer operated kind of system where you're creating your floor plan there and you're drawing all that stuff in, great. Just make sure it's to scale. Now, when I mean scale, not necessarily meaning you need to pull out the 25-foot tape measure and measure things out, but if you can walk things off, heel to toe, from one wall to the other wall, this wall to this wall, and make sure that you've got, okay, this is like 10.5 feet. That's great. We want things to be proportionate as they're laid out on your floor plan. Because often what happens is I'm seeing a floor plan that's hand-drawn, usually by somebody sitting at the kitchen counter or sitting at their office at the last minute thinking, oh, I've got to do this floor plan. So what happens is we start drawing, because we know the living room, right? We're familiar with the living room and the kitchen, and we draw that. And it's like, oh my gosh, I've run out of room on this page. So then they squeeze in the other bedrooms and the bathrooms, and everything becomes really tiny. Well, that's no longer proportionate, right? I know that you're not living in a 5-foot wide master bedroom, and that your living room is 30 feet wide. So we want to make sure that things are proportionate, because when we lay the compass on your floor plan, we're looking at 45-degree sectors all the way around, 360 degrees of your floor plan. And we want to make sure and know that, your master bedroom might be taking up a couple sectors rather than just this little sector over here. So get as accurate as possible. Now, here's my recommendation on the best way to do that if you're doing a hand rendering. So first of all, go outside of your house and walk it off. Walk down the side. How many feet is that? Walk down the back, walk down the side. Now, some of us have little bump outs, or front entrance sits back, or the garage sits out front. Account for all of that. Draw out the perimeter line, the outline of your house, on a piece of grid paper. You could print one off of your computer. You might have some grid paper from your kids' backpacks. Get some grid paper and draw that outline of your house on this grid paper. Designate how many feet per little grid square it's going to be and mark that out. That's really, the space that we're going to start fitting the puzzle pieces into, which is, the 3 little bedrooms for your children, and then the guest bathroom, and then the pantry and the kitchen and the mudroom. Then you can fit those in like a puzzle piece. You've measured off the kitchen. It's this big. That fits right there in the corner. We know the dining room is this big. That fits next to it. Count for the hallways. And I want you to pretend like you're creating an architectural drawing. Make it accurate with window placement. How wide is the window? I would like to know if the window is taking up the whole wall rather than just a little section, if you just sketch it in really quick. We want to know where doors are. We want to know where the plumbing is. And then lastly, include the two main important pieces of furniture, and that's bed and desk. So indicate where the beds are. You know, if your child's sleeping on a twin bed, have it be the measurements of a twin bed, not a master bed. Same with your desk. If it's an L-shaped desk or if it's a little desk up against the wall, create that and mark that information down. I want you to know your space. So aside from it being accurate so that it's efficient long term, because it's going to be something you'll reflect back 2 years later, and it'll be of value to know where these spaces are, especially when, you know, one of your children moves off to college and you realize, oh my gosh, I forgot that's the money corner. Now that he's gone, I can't let it sit empty. That's not good money, money energy. So what can I then put in that corner to accentuate and bring more abundance into my life? That's why this good floor plan's really key to successful Feng Shui. But the other reason I really want you to get in there and make an effort to walk off your space is I want you to see the rooms that you've been neglecting. I want you to get down into the basement and remember what's down there. Remember that, oh yeah, there is a window there. I forgot. It's kind of blocked by this shelf that's kind of halfway over and the blinds are always closed. I forget that window's down there. What am I shutting out in this area of my life that I don't want to quite see? Is it just a messy window well? Well, that's not good Feng Shui either. So we want to know, you want to know where a big majority of your attention is going in your home and where it's being neglected, because most of us, our lives are out of balance that way. There's certain areas that we way focus on. And when I'm looking at your space, I can't see all of that on paper, right? In some of these consultations I'm doing remotely, sometimes I'm in your home, or sometimes we might be sitting in a coffee shop. I can't always see your home. Yes, you can send video and pictures, but being in your home is, of course, the best thing. But for you to be able to go into your home and realize it's like, gosh, that front room when you walk into my home is beautiful. It's so welcoming to my neighbors and anybody that comes to visit. But my bedroom, forget about it. It's the last thing on my list. Okay, well, what does that mean? And what sector, what 45 degrees is that sitting in? If your front room is sitting in your children's sector, for instance, which would be the west, that means you're giving a lot of attention to your children in your life right now. And maybe that's necessary. Maybe they're young, maybe they're teens and they're going through a crisis, or they just need that extra love and attention. That's great. But say your master bedroom is in your career, in your life path sector. Does that mean you're neglecting your life path in your journey through life and really how you're meant to move through this time-space reality that we're in? So that's going to give us so many clues. There's so many things that we can look at. So the floor plan, it's key. So be as efficient and as accurate and proportionate, and make the effort to get a good, steady floor plan. Make copies of it. Include all of the windows and plumbing and all of that stuff. Be aware of what you're seeing as you're walking around your home. And if you need to make note of stuff on the side, it's like, yeah, I neglected this space, or this space needs painting, or I've got to remind myself to call my sister-in-law because all of her stuff is stored in this room. Whatever it is, that's good information because it's telling a story about your life, about your home life or your business. That's good information. The next thing we want to do is we want to know the facing direction of your home or your business. And that is typically out your front door. It's where the road is. Yes, there are some variables. There's other situations, whether you're living in a condo on the 3rd floor and you're facing a pond, or living in a duplex, or you have to enter the side and go into your basement unit. There's all kinds of other variations. But wherever your main entrance is in your home or your business, that's where you're going to take your compass reading from. And so the best way to do that is at your front door. So I'm going to meet you out front, And I'm going to show you the tools that can be used to get the best compass reading for you so that when we do place the compass on your floor plan, we know it's accurate as we can get it, and be precise in any recommendations or changes or shifts that you're ready to make in that space and in your life. Okay, so I'm going to meet you out front. Okay, now we're going to get a reading of the facing direction or the facing position of your home or your office. Typically, it's the front door, it's where the traffic flows, it's where most of the energy is on your property or coming to your property. Now, I would use a low pan. It's a Chinese compass, and I'm assuming you don't have one. So we're going to do this reading here of this house with the compass app that comes on phones or the one that you can download for free. So I found one, just typed in the compass, and there are some Chinese ones. They can be a little bit more confusing, but go ahead and open up your phone, and we're just going to get a reading here. Now, I want my shoulders, my back, parallel to the front of my house. And so what I've done is I've come in outside, stepped down, and I'm actually got my heels up against the step here to kind of square me off. Because if I'm turned, at any degrees, that's going to, whatever I'm reading here, that's going to be off. So what I want to do is I'm going to hold my compass down like this, and you can turn it, any way really, but I like the long ways because what it does is it allows me to look for a crack or the edge of the welcome mat to align this up with. So I'm aligning it so I'm at least trying to hold my phone as straight as possible. And you can totally lay it down. You don't need to be holding it. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking to see what this direction is facing here. And ideally, rather than saying south, west, whatever, I'm looking for degrees. So once this settles down, and sometimes depending on the compass, it'll fluctuate between numbers, write down the number once it settles, or kind of the medium number there. And this is looking like it's about 166 degrees south. Write that number down. That's the facing direction or the facing position of your home, the front of your home. That's the information we're going to use then when we take the actual compass and lay it on your floor plan or your property with that alignment, so then we know where the rest of the sectors are, the directions, and what's sitting in that space there. So that's it. If you have any questions, drop me a line or send me an email and I'll help you walk through it. But hopefully this has been a really good foundational kind of video that gives you the tools that you need to make the successful beginning for a Feng Shui experience. Thanks.